Alright, we've got a split CV joint boot here, and we're going to cut this band off. Don't stab yourself or anything, just prise it. Screwdriver, and we'll get the cutters. We'll cut the band off like that. Clip out this ring, which looks like it's holding it in there. It's anything stopping the actual joint from coming out. So how do we take the ring out? Just like that. CV joint comes out. So sit the ring on there. Now we must have a clip on the end of it, the joint, so you're going to want to clean up this, all that grease off it. And we can see that clip, got a clip on here. I don't know if you can see that clip or not. Lift up the joint, it's got a clip here. You just use a pair of snap ring tools on it. Just take it off like that. We'll stick that snap ring down there, and we should be able to just take this should just slide off. Yep. We need to clean all the shaft up, a clean rag, and I'll just clean all this up. And then I'll got to clean it all out. I'll just sit that there for a minute. So what I'll do is I'll just sit this actual joint itself over here on a cloth, and the snap ring went on the end of it, and this goes in the cup. So I'll sit that on there. We've got to put that back on the shaft. Need to clean it all up, clean all the old grease out inside it. Need to do a real good job of this too. Like that. It's a very dirty job, and we've got the old CV joint which is split. So that's trash, so we'll sit that on the ground because we don't want to get that grease and stuff everywhere. And we've got the clamp still on the shaft here, which we've got to get this off. What you could do with this is alright, got to clean all that up. Take your time. Alright, I'm just cleaning up the shaft here. Got some carby throttle body cleaner. So what I'm going to do is spray that on the shaft. I want to clean it up so it's normal. Now, the first step we want to do is, once we've cleaned the shaft up, is just get a clean rag. Want to get the new boot out. You've got the grease in it, and you've got your bands and your clip and your boot. It's important to put the boot on at this stage before you do anything. The boot just slips over there, and it slips on that groove. See that groove here? Boot just goes on, and that's where you put your band. I think we need to put our band on first too. I'll just take that back off. Put our packet contents. Our new clip just fell out. Put our band on with it. Poke it through, back through the CV. Back onto that lip I was talking about here. Alright, so now we've got our band on that part of it. We want to make sure we get our band I see what they've done. They've allowed it to be extra long. I'm going to put my band on here too, and I'll just put the band up the back with the other one. Alright, so now I've got our boot on. The next part is just cleaning this up inside here so it's spotless. So we're going to clean it all out so it's real neat, nice and clean. I've got plenty of clean rags to do that. I'll just inspect it for anywhere. Looks alright, it's pretty good. Right, now we've got our CV, our balls here. We've got to clean these up. The grease actually looks pretty good on here, they're not filthy. So it looks like the boot hasn't long been split, which is great for me, because that means no dirt and shit's got any. Alright, so what our next step is, we've got to put this back on the shaft. Just like that. I hope you can see that. I've got my brand new circlip here. Just get the circlip pliers and put that new C-clip back on here. It's very important that when you put these on, them C-clips actually in there properly, which they are. And what I'll do is, just for the time being, try and get that boot down further, so it's actually out of the way, like so. We've got our new greasy. So what we'll do is, I'll squirt it in the where the CV joint goes, in a nice pool of grease. Make sure I've got a clean rag here because I need to wipe my hands. Don't get any of that on me. put a little bit, squeeze it all out of the tube. Right. I'll just smooth some of this around here. Oops, the band wants to fall off. Alright, now what we'll do is we'll slide this back in there, just like that. Make sure you wipe your hands with that. And we've got our ring, which this ring's got to go back in there properly, which it's not locked in. And I haven't got it in the groove, I can see it. Yep, it is now. I wonder if I can give you a good look at that. Just show you. If you see that ring actually sits in grooves around the holder. There's a groove here for it, and there's a groove in the top, and that's got to sit in there, and that's what locks it in there. So when you get your CV in and out, it won't pull out. So you got to make sure that's in there properly. And as you can see, we've got our CV joint lube in there. I'm sure when that turns in the shaft, it's gonna be lubing itself up quite a bit. I just want to get every drop out of the tube. Alright, make sure your hands are clean. Now I've got it in there, and you go to pull it. I don't want to go pulling it, trying to pull it out, but the clip's in there properly. CV joint's in there. Now what we need to do is sit that band back there for a minute. Is it now? We're going to have fun getting this boot over this. It's got cutouts on the boot. Don't know if you can see that there, where it's got to go over it. Alright, that's it, it's on there. And also it's got a cutout in the shaft. Whoops, what I said about before. Alright, so this is our first band. I've got my CV tool there. You can pull these bands. I'm going to prop this up here. I'm going to get something under it. I'll grab a piece of wood. Just grab a piece of wood here, and I'll just sit that CV joint up like that. What I'll do is I'll make sure I put my other band on first. Sure we get them sitting both on there. Alright, it's on there. Now, I have done these, pulled these with a pair of pliers right down as tight as you can get them, then bent them over and bent these tabs down. You do have a tool here too. The tool's going to be awkward to get on this one. Got a tool here. It's been that long since I've done one of these. This is the cutter. This is the winder. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this, so we're going to thread the band oops, thread it through, and it's got to be in this winder at the back. The pin's not quite long enough for the actual tool. So what I've done here, I've got a pair of pliers, and I'm going to try and pull the band. The band's like, you know, more or less tight. I don't have enough room on it. What this tool does is you do it up, you bend it over, and it's a cutter too. The thing is this band's not quite long enough. It wants to pull it, but so what we're going to do, I'm just going to pull it with a pair of pliers. And bend it back. Bend the band back by hand. Back around. I'll get a chisel and just tap that down. When you go doing stuff like this, make sure the band's on there as tight as you can possibly get it. What I'll do then is I'll just tap it down carefully, and you've got a couple of tabs on here that you've got to bend over. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Now we have to cut that off. Which in the past I've used a grinder to do that. But whenever you go to cut these off with an angle grinder, be very careful you don't hit that boot, because you wreck it. Probably could cut a bit more off that. Going real careful. Alright, once you do that, take your glasses off. Tap that down. And that's done. It's pretty neat, it's not too bad. I haven't made a mess of it. Alright, we've got the next one to do. Make sure your boot's on there properly. That's the first thing you should be checking. Make sure you got it pushed up there as far as it can go. Right, so when you tighten, this one's got to be bent back. You just bend it over. Feed that into it. Before you do anything else, just carefully turn the boot round and make sure that the band's fully on there. So once you've tightened it, just use this tool to bend it straight over. No, doesn't want to cut it off either. But won't now. Even my tool's falling to bits here. That's what happens when you buy junk. but I've already bent it over. The clamp's already locked it in. So all we've got to do is, where's my punch? Get my punch. Make sure I tap that down. As best as you can. I do have this other tool which bends these in, which that's how it works. But I find it's always easier just to get a punch, hammer. Right, same deal. We cut it off with a hammer, grinder I mean. You want to cut it back a little bit. Get my glasses back on. Gotta be careful. We could probably cut that off just a little bit more. Right, and that's the boot done. And that's how you do CV boots. I've got it on there. I mean, this is my way. This is my way of doing it. I mean, anyone else. But you know, if you've got other ways of doing CV boots, I mean, you know, all to you. But that's how I do them. I don't know why these are sticking up like this. But these are in good condition, right? And that's it. That's how you do CV joint boots. The grease will get worked in it. I'm sure when the axle's spinning at high speed, it'll fly around and lube it up. I've cleaned it all out properly. That was the stuff in it. And yeah. And that's it. I've got one more to do though, and it doesn't feel like it's got any slop in it. It's done a bit of work. And if you don't want to replace these boots and you want to get new CV joints, I mean they cost, I think this one here for the drive side was 150, the other one was 130 or 120, so it was about $270 to $300 for two of these CV joints if you was going to go that way of doing it. And yeah, but this was only a split boot. I don't know if it was clicking or not because I haven't drove the car, because the car's got a blown motor at the moment. That's the motor out of it. I've got the new motor over there to put in it. But yeah, as you can see, the car's in bits for a few days until I get the just waiting for a clutch freight bearing to come, and that'll be going back together. But this is a Nissan Xtrail CV joint boot inner, and that's the outer. So that when they say inner means the inside boot closest to the gearbox, and this is the outer, which is closest to the wheel, if anyone didn't know. To get these out, they can be a bit tight to get out. If you watch my video about how to remove these, you can. And I think how you get these out, these have got to be smashed out with a hammer because it's got a bearing in here, in the actual joint itself. It runs on a bearing, so it doesn't put all that pressure on it. But before I changed this boot, that felt nice and tight. Got a little bit of movement, just a little bit, but you got to expect that with age. And that's what goes in the gearbox here, that's covered up. And I've got to make sure that's spotless before I go putting that back in there, because that's very important. And go putting any dirt and that grime and stuff back in the transmission. And yeah, I brought these tools, they were cheap. As you can see, they're not much good either. this tool is just to bend them clips over, and this one here is to supposedly cut the band. It does tighten them up though, so it does work. Alright, we've got the second CV joint put here, and this one's broken the same as the one we just did. I wasn't going to film this, but I thought I'll just put it in just in case. So first what I've got to do is prise the clamp off, just like that. Now I do have cutters here for this, but let that one come off. Okay. What we're going to do is pull the boot off. Now make sure before you do anything, get a clean rag. Sit that on the clean rag because we don't want to be putting trash and everything and getting stuff in the joint. And we've got this clip in here we've got to get out with the screwdriver, just like the other one. Alright, that's the clip. So what I'll do with the clip, I'll set the clip over here. It's got a little bit of dirt on the clip of it. So now we can pull this out. What we've got to do is, just got to clean all this filth up. So just use a rag that we already got. That's already filthy. And of course the key is here is to remove anything that's dirty or gritty particles in it. More clean, I've got plenty of clean rags here for that. Got some cleaner. Just carbon throttle body cleaner. Oh, we want to inspect it too, which I can see there's a little scratch or something, like a small pebble or something's got in there. I don't know if you can see that, just a tiny little mark. You know, that's not going to affect it though. That's why it's important that when you clean these out, you're getting rid of that grime, otherwise you're going to be cycling that through the joint everywhere. Alright, now I've got to clean this filthy thing up. Turn it up right, get our circlet pliers. Now where's that? It's right here. Whoops. It's got that. Set that down. You don't want to go reusing that. Alright, we'll set our joint there. Got our old boot. Throw that in the ground, because we'll not be keeping that junk. And we want to clean up the shaft. I'll use carbon cleaner on it in a minute. That rag is absolutely trash. Let's prise this off, this old band. If you have trouble getting these off, you can cut them off with a grinder. Just be careful you don't go damaging the shaft. Got to prise it. Bloody hell, this one's on here. This one is really on here. Apparently, from what I've been reading on the internet, these Xtrails are prone for doing these CV joints, these inner ones all the time. See if I can pull it past that. Bloody hell. Got it off. Down to the rubbish pile. In the rag pile. Alright. Want to clean this up. Alright. Clean all the grime out of this uni joint, whatever you want to call it. You can put these in parts wash from that too. Soak them in gasoline. You can do anything with them. Probably wouldn't advise to be putting them in gasoline or anything, because you'd be drying the actual insides of the metal parts out, because you run and dry it for a while. So probably avoid gasoline and stuff if you can. You know what I mean? Alright. I've cleaned it up pretty good. Now, we need to get our boot, got our oil, and these boots, they cost $25 too, so they weren't $22.50 each. Whoops. That's our new stack that's got to go in there. Just for anyone who wants to know how much it costs to do these. Just fill out. Very important to put the clamp on and the boot on. That one sits on there, nice. Alright. Now I've got to get our joint, put it back on the spline. What have I done? Got it upside down. Yep, I sure did. Yeah, don't go ever using the old snap ring. Make sure you got the brand new one on here. Oops, bloody leaning over. Hold your finger on the top of these too, because if it comes out, see, it's not in there properly. There it is now. I always like to get a screwdriver. Make sure that snap ring's in there, yep. It's gone in. Right, sit that back down. keep it out any grime. Got our brand new tube. Before I open that, what hands? We got clean hands. Open the tube. Still got a little bit of grime in there. I don't want any grime in there. Let's get another clean rag. Put it in. Because any of them little pebbles or anything that, or it's attracted in it, it will it'll be running in here. It'll be destroying it on you. So you really gotta make sure you clean it properly. Right. Now I feel better about it. That's it. Nice and clean in there. Right. Get a tube. I'll do what I did last time with the other joint. Be careful not to get that anywhere. Let's put some lube on here. Right. It's like I've bent it down. How the bloody hell have I done that? I just bent it up then. Right, I'll just straighten it back out. Make sure it's level, which it is. You know, when you're putting this sort of stuff in, like this is a prime example, what I've just done then, is that I've just checked it and I've realised this was bent, it wasn't clipped in. So anyone that's doing this, be very careful to make sure that when you go to put it in, this piece of wire that actually holds it in there, is to make sure you got it clipped in. It's got grooves in there where it goes. It's very important that you bloody get that in there properly. Right, now it's clipped in. And that's why I always like to double check stuff, because wherever these are, where it seats, make sure you rub your finger on it, turn it around each one. Hopefully you can see that. That's where it seats. Just like that screw right. I showed you on the last one that it's the same here. It seats in there like that. So it pays to check that ring. Alright. Just move that over. Now, let's get the boot lined up. Oh, got the boot on there. This band's extra long, so you don't have to worry about putting that one on, but you have to put the small one on. Always put the small band on first. So we're just going to do the same things before. Use a pair of pliers to do it, as I did with the first one. I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, make sure you pull the band up. And I'll just put a little notch in it, and I'll just roll the CV joint round, because I want to make sure that band's on there properly. Go doing anything stupid. do now, your hammer, a little punch. Drop the CV joint over. Got a couple of these little tabs, you can actually push these over by hand. You don't need any special tool. What you do need is to make sure they're both straight and hit them down so they're locking. That's what you need. Alright. Just flatten that out. That's good. Right. Let's cut this off real carefully. Get a pair of glasses on. Good enough for me. She's on there good and tight too. Trying to go wailing at it or mangling it up. And that's it. Got the next band I'm going to put on there. And then go around it twice. I can put my tool on there though, what I've got. Tighten that up. I want to make sure that CV joint's in there properly. Yep. Alright, all you got to do, just fold it over. This thing is useless. Let the handle come out. Lock that in there. Cut it off. And we're done. That's it. Might trim that one up a little bit, still a bit too long. But yeah, that's it. And yeah, thanks for watching. please like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and yeah, have a good day.